Yes, people, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Welcome back to Transfer Talk. And it's a much quieter Monday than last Monday. This time last week, bids were flying in left, right and diddly for James Maddison. Bids getting rejected left, right and diddly. Don't know what that means, left, right and centre for James Maddison. This week, start of the week, a bit quiet. Maybe it's the calm before the storm. Is it? Let's wait and see. Back of the weekend, you know, we're still celebrating after the weekend. What a great opening day of the season that was against Nottingham Forest. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant being back at St James's Park. Shout out to everyone that I bumped into, met, got pictures with, chatted with, all of that. Class to meet us all. Class to get back doing fan cams as well. This fan cam got a lot of attention going actually, especially on social media and our Instagram and stuff as well. At the Magpie Channel. If you don't follow it, sort it out. Unless you haven't got Instagram, then it's absolutely fine. Do your own thing, whatever else like you do in your spare time. But this video here where he's talking about Newcastle are being stingy in their transfer negotiations. Why are we putting in 40 million bids for Maddison when he's clearly going to cost more than that? Hey, if you haven't watched that video, check it out and let your comments be known on that video and this one about Newcastle's negotiations this window. Now they're still in for James Maddison. Fabrizio Romano, the journalist king of transfers, he knows what he's talking about. He has said that Newcastle United will be going back in for a third bid for James Maddison in the next few days. Now then, what is a way we can get Maddison? Because we're not going to get him with just cash unless we put it up. Leicester have said they want £50 million up front for Maddison, or they'll accept £60 million in instalments, but still a large portion of that has to be in the first instalment, being a huge amount of cash. So an alternative that has been murmured in the press and amongst fans and whatnot is Martin DUBRAVKA being included in that deal for James Maddison. Now that makes sense to me. I think this could happen, and it does make sense for me, because Martin DUBRAVKA is not going to be happy sitting on the bench this season. We've already seen Nick Pope has been given that starting place. You know, he started against Forest. He's going to start all season unless he has a nightmare, loads of mistakes. DUBRAVKA will be doing up bench, doing up Forrest Gump for the rest of the season, and he's not going to be happy doing that. There's no way Martin DUBRAVKA is going to be happy being second fiddle when he's been a number one in the Premier League for years now, a number one for his country. He's going to want to be number one. He could easily get a move to another Premier League team and be their goalkeeper. So that's what he's going to be pushing for. He probably is behind the scenes. I'd imagine he's not very happy. I think he was hoping that he would start the season as our goalkeeper, continue as our goalkeeper, and then if he put a foot wrong, that would be Nick Pope's opportunity. Kind of like what happened last year with Arsenal. I was watching the All or Nothing documentary on Amazon Prime about Arsenal. It's class. And where Burton starts the season, has a terrible first couple of games. Ramsdale, who was just saying, comes in, gets his chance, takes over as number one. That's what I think DUBRAVKA was hoping, that he was going to be given the faith. Look, he's been at us for years. He's been our number one. He's staying. Pope comes in immediately. Here you go, son. Because Pope never came to Newcastle to battle it out. He would not have signed for us without the assurances that he was going to be our starting goalkeeper. I said that at the time, especially in a World Cup year, because Pope would have had a lot of options this summer. So we've done well to bring him in. And like I say, he's going to want to be on that plane to Qatar for the World Cup. So there's no way he's going to be happy being on the bench. DUBRAVKA isn't. DUBRAVKA is on the bench. Pope is the starter. It's time to move him on. Leicester have already... I mean, I love DUBRAVKA. You know, he loves the Magpie Channel. He's been on before. He's talked about on Sky. He's had an interview with me before. He's a really, really nice bloke. A sound bloke, top professional, humble, class bloke. You know, but he's been here for a few years now, and you've got a progressive way of wanting to evolve. For me personally, I don't have a problem. I think, you know, we could have easily kept DUBRAVKA this year and focused on other targets, but Pope, the opportunity came to sign a top keeper at a cheap price, and we took that, so fair play. And like I said, DUBRAVKA's not happy to battle it out with competition, and thank you very much for your services, Martin. Time to move him on, and Leicester are actually one of the big clubs that are interested in him. Leicester are one of the main clubs that want to sign DUBRAVKA. They have inquired about his services, but Newcastle don't really want to let him go, or won't, unless there can be a solution with James Maddison. So to me, this makes sense for both parties. If Newcastle want to get Maddison, Leicester want more cash. Newcastle don't want to give them the cash. Leicester need a goalkeeper because Kasper Schmeichel has went to Nice. They desperately need a new goalkeeper. They can get a Premier League proven goalkeeper and Martin DUBRAVKA through the door. Let's give them 35 million plus Martin DUBRAVKA. What's DUBRAVKA worth, would you say? Probably about 12 million, 15 million tops. So if you're going to give Leicester 35 million and a goalkeeper, that's 45 to 50 million. There you go, happy days. Or 40 million plus DUBRAVKA, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That'll do us lovely. We can pay Maddison's wages. The Leicester can happily afford Martin DUBRAVKA, sorts them out. it just works well for us, really, because if Newcastle are going to go back in for a third bid, what they're going to go in for this time, 47 million, you know what I mean, 40, 48 million, it's still going to probably be just short of Leicester's valuation. But there's a big but here that gives me confidence that, I'm not confident that James Maddison will definitely sign for Newcastle, I'll be honest, because I think if the valuations are far off. Maddison started for Leicester yesterday, played in that draw with Brentford, I think they finished 2-2, they were 2-0 up. Maddison actually played right behind Jamie Vardy, nearly as a in that forward too, to be honest. It was the, what was it, 5-3-1-1 that Leicester were playing, but he was so close to Vardy, literally right behind him on his shoulder, not so much directly as a number 10, that's Vardy and this is Maddison, but he was, now this is, what, this has got the shit, but he was close, he was up front with him, right, that's what I'm trying to say, fucking hell. But you know, he was further up the field, he didn't score, I'm not sure how he played, I just seen the score as it was the Man United Brighton game, but I've seen the lineup and everything. But obviously he's going to play. They're not going to bench him and hope that he doesn't get injured or whatever. Like, they're happy to keep him. They want to keep him. But Newcastle must be getting signs that he wants to come and signals that Leicester are willing to do a deal. Now, obviously, Craig Cole from the Daily Mail has said that 50 million cash would do it up front. But they must be hearing good things that, you know, James Maddison fancies the move. He's interested. He wants to come. And you don't blame him. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to Leicester, but I think they're on the downward trajectory now. After winning the FA Cup in the Premier League several years ago, selling the best players. They've always done that, but they've always recruited very well. They've always got rid of Mahrez and Conte, and then brought in really good recruitment on the other end. But because of the pandemic really hitting the King Power owners, Leicester's owners, and the fact that they haven't been able to invest, they're the only side across the top 7 European leagues that haven't signed a senior player this summer. They just seem to be falling down the pecking order a bit now, I think, in the likes of us, West Ham, Aston Villa even, you know, are pushing up there. I think Maddison's probably realised he's hit the ceiling at Leicester, whereas Newcastle's ceiling is ever growing. You know what I mean? It's becoming a convertible, hopefully. You know what I mean? We're trying to get the convertible's coming down. It's not quite there yet. Stuck halfway, my head's popping out, but I can feel it on the back of my neck. The roof isn't completely off Newcastle, but it will be a limitless roof. There is no ceiling at Newcastle United in the foreseeable future, because once we get these revenue deals and the commercial deals, and we should hopefully turn into that Manchester City type club where, you know, we can just spend what we want, we'll get around FFP and stuff, but it cannot do that just yet. But just like Bruno, just like Trippier, Botman, we can get Maddison to believe in the project. He knows we're on the up, he knows an exciting time, and I think he fancies a change. So they must be getting good signs, good signals from Maddison, from Leicester, that this deal can happen. They're still pursuing it. Otherwise, they would have surely moved on to other targets like they did once they realised they couldn't sign Diaby. That Diaby wasn't bothered about a move. He's happy at Leverkusen, Champions League, World Cup year. Next summer he's going to move. Leverkusen don't need the money. They would only accept 70 million. Newcastle, fine, that's not going to work with us. Next. Tried Harrison too much. Now they're looking at Maddison. They would have moved on by now if they didn't. Romano was saying we're going to put a third bid in. I would expect us to try and sign James Maddison again this week. So we'll see if there's any movement on that. Another player that's been linked with Newcastle United since the bloody takeover, since Bruno Guimaraes signed, is Bruno's best mate, Lucas Paqueta, because even though the club have never said anything about Paqueta, that they're not interested in him, they are interested in him, they're not, because they don't see the point in spending all that money on that position, in that midfield. They've looked at Maddison because he's more forward playing, his goals and assists are proven in the Premier League. Now, will we do what we did with Nick Pope, where we see a chance with Paqueta and think, right, we can get him for that price, that's worth it? Remains to be seen. But Bruno's been in the Chronicles saying, you know, how much he would love Paqueta to be playing in black and white, but that's not really his place to say. Sensible answer. Obviously he wants to play with his best mate. Bruno's already been in his garden doing up, kicky up, easy and stroke the dog. But will he be playing for Newcastle? I think he could in the future. Maybe if he stays, it depends where his next move is. If he stays at Lyon, he could sign in January or next summer when they would put that much money into that position. But for now, I think we've seen against Forest even, and I think Willock can grow into that role even more when he gets consistent game time. We've seen how good Joelinton and Bruno are. Paqueta is not a priority. You've got to go for a priority of a right winger striker or Maddison who can get the goals and creativity that right winger or striker would provide if we signed them. So for now, Paqueta, I wouldn't see him signing for Newcastle, but get knocked back from Maddison. There's not a striker out there who provides value for money in the goals return ratio. Maybe they'll think, fuck it, we'll just sign him. And that's it. There's no other fresh links this Monday. That's it. There's no other new names that have popped up, but Newcastle have missed out on a previous name. Another target has gone missing. slipped through the system there is Benjamin Sesko. Now, again, I said that at the time when I did the video. I bet his agent was just on holiday here. Just, you know, just literally everyone, just because his agent was on the quayside, he was going to be signing for Newcastle that same night or the next morning. Not the case at all. Manchester United were in talks with him. Not sure if we were. Mixed signals from the club about that. Some reporters are saying that we were, some reporters saying we never were. But he's actually not coming to England. He is going to another Red Bull side. So he's going from Salzburg to Leipzig. So he's signing for them, £23 million, and it's a permanent deal as well. But it looks like he's probably going to stay at his current club for a year and then move to them next summer. Says Benjamin Sesko's next move sorted out. Won't beat in the Premier League, won't beat in Newcastle. Another Hugo Ekitike situation in a way, but not quite that far down the line because Newcastle did have a bid accepted for him. He was meant to be coming and inevitably signed for Paris Saint-Germain. What's going to happen then? It should be a busy week. I expect things to heat up during the week amongst it on the way to the Brighton trip. You know, Brighton away this Saturday. Can Newcastle get back-to-back wins? We'll have the preview coming later in the week for that. But can Newcastle get a player in before Brighton? Will they look at getting Maddison signed? Will they look at other targets? It remains to be seen. But smash that subscribe button and that bell button to get notified for all of your Newcastle United updates. Cheers for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.